Shalom Aleichem, and welcome back to another dose of a Bisseleh Torah. We are now into the book of Devarim, in the book of Deuteronomy. The second segment of Deuteronomy, of Devarim, is called Ve'et Hanan. And in this parsha, we find pretty significant subjects that are touched upon. One finds the Shema in there, the Ten Commandments are in there, and a very special request that Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher, our rabbi, asks of God. You see, this is his final opportunity to address the nation and to speak directly to the heart of God. And what he says to the latter, what he says to Hashem is, please, ve'er'eh ha'aretz hatovah, please, let me see the good in the land. He knows that he's not allowed to go in. God has made that much clear to him. But he knows it's good already, despite the fact that he's not entered into the land personally. He's heard the reports of the spies long ago who told him that it's fulsome, that the land is so verdant and beautiful it produces fruits that are just beyond measure in terms of size and quantity and beauty. So he knows it's good. So what is it that he's really asking, besides, of course, to come into the land? And the Berditchever Rebbe makes a very profound comment. He says, let me see the good of the land. You know, life is an admixture of so many different things. This good, this bad. There are things that give us great pause, and there are things that make us feel jubilant, exultant, just to be alive. But it's not a straight line. It's always mixed, isn't it? We know very well from life that it's good and it's bad, and how we interpret what happens to us, how we intake it, and how we harbor what we've taken in is determinant of how we look at the world and how we, in fact, judge ourselves as well. And we just passed the very austere holy day of Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, when we recall all of the terrible things that have happened to our people throughout the course of the millennia, starting with the time that Moses threw down the tablets, extending to the wandering of 40 years, the destruction of both temples, and so many more things that make us deeply sorrowful, which is why this day is the only full fast day on the Jewish calendar, besides, of course, Yom Kippur. And how do we deal with this? We spend a day in mourning, we spend a day in fasting, we spend a day watching, listening, praying, and reading the book of Lamentations. And then when the day is over, we get up and we begin life anew. We don't live in that same place of darkness that we inhabited for a year. We dispense with those momentary fragments of memory that are important for us to take into ourselves and to guide us into the future. But once it is over, we get up out of the Shiva chair, so to speak, and then we get on with life. In much the same way, Moses' request of God, let me see the good of the land, is much akin to the same thing as Tisha B'Av and the aftermath of Tisha B'Av. That is to say, Moses understood very well that the land was imperfect, that the land would not yield everything that he hoped it would yield, that people would do things in the land that they perhaps should think twice about doing, that it was going to be an imperfect journey into Eretz HaKodesh, into the Holy Land. But Moses asked of God, let me see only the good. It was a prayer. Moses' prayer to God was, allow my eyes to take in only the good. Maybe that should be our prayer as well, that we allow ourselves, once the evil has passed us, once the darkness has receded, and the light returns, to allow ourselves to be bathed in that light, to see a new day, a new dawn, a new opportunity. And you and I are blessed with the ability to be able to transform ourselves anytime we so desire into something that would blossom and bloom in the light instead of curl up and die in the darkness. May this be our prayer as we enter into this sacred week of Et Hanan, as we begin to approach the new year. May God give us the ability to be able to see goodness and to be able to take the darkness and once it's dispensed with, move on into the light.